So currently I'm part of an initiative in the College of Arts and Architecture called the Arts and Design Research Incubator, and it's fairly new. We're in our second year. And it's an initiative that's pretty exciting because it is trying to promote interdisciplinary work and collaboration and methodological innovations, right? Things that maybe we don't know how these methods work, but we're going to try them. I'm interested in looking at walking as a research method and the ways in which walking allows us to think about the ways in which people store a place. And so I do walking interviews. And currently the project I have is called Story Walks. And I essentially ask a very basic question, which is, if you were to take me on a tour of your town, where would you take me and why? It turns out that that's actually a pretty productive question because people, depending on who they are, take me various different places. And what's been really interesting to me about that is the way in which as we walk and as people are talking about places, they're actually talking about their history with a place or the official record history of a place. My walking research right now is funded through the Social Science and Humanities Research Council of Canada. It's a partnership grant, and it's linking me with two other partners, one in Toronto and then a couple out in Brisbane, Australia. We each do different types of walks, but it's a grant that allows us to really explore what walking could be as a method and compiling what we're doing. So the difference between having somebody walk you through their town versus having a sit-down interview where you're asking somebody about their town is that they're really fully embodied in the place, and all of these sensory experiences are happening around you. Or another thing that happens, which is really interesting, is when we're walking along the street and they run into a friend. So I'm working right now in a very small historic neighborhood where people mostly know each other, and they'll run into somebody and they'll say a little bit about what they're doing, and then the friend starts in about their stories about this place. And suddenly we have this co-constructed conversation going on where each is learning something about the town that maybe they didn't know before. One of the themes that seems to be emerging from the walking interviews so far has to do with community identity and what it means to actually live in a place called San Jose Japantown. Knowing also that the people who live in and around this historic district are of different kinds of ethnic communities. So I hear that a lot in the walking tours that people give me, that people are expressing a hope for the businesses that will come there and the people that will live there. And there's this recognition of, should we still be calling it San Jose Japantown? Or do we call it something else? And people have different responses to that. So to me, it gets into these really interesting issues of a sense of identity and belonging.
You know, it's like when you move away from home and then you go home and it's just like, I feel like I can just relax and kick off my shoes. That's sort of the feeling that I have with San Jose Japantown.